So Nioh 3, critically acclaimed, sitting at 86% on Metacritic. God knows how many people are reviewing it. It sits in the top 3% of all time of any video game. It's a statement by Team Ninja, and in my eyes, a justification for two games that came before it that were really not received with much love, or not as much love as I felt they deserved. Now, I did a review on Rise of the Ronin saying I felt it was the most underrated game of the year, and I still stand by that. I really liked Rise of the Ronin, and more than anything, it had a brilliant story which was based in history and based on real figures in Japanese history. And it still had the classic Team Ninja combat. So to really understand what makes Nioh 3, not only do you need to understand Rise of the Ronin, but you also need to look at Long Fallen Dynasty, another game lampooned when it first came out, admittedly because performance wasn't great. But if you look at the core mechanics of Long Fallen Dynasty, especially the burst break from Nioh 3 is literally the counter from Long Fallen Dynasty, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much tried and tested in those two games. They were basically a breeding ground for a lot of the ideas that made Nioh 3 so fantastic. And the open world or open field is basically a copy paste from Rise of the Ronin. I mean, here, look at the map from Rise of the Ronin. You can't tell the difference. But yeah, Rise of the Ronin and Wolong released to mixed receptions, and sadly, the community moved on pretty quickly. But thankfully, Team Ninja didn't. They diligently worked at the ideas and kept refining them. Rise of the Ronin released to mixed reception. Weirdly enough, people comparing it to Ghost of Tsushima, which nobody did for Nioh 3. And I know Nioh 3's yokai and stuff, but it still has human enemies in it, and it's based in Japan and China or wherever else these maps are. But yeah, I just couldn't get rid of the nagging feeling while playing Nioh 3. Why was Nioh 3 so universally praised, where those games were pretty bashed at the time? Because if you're being really honest, look at Nioh 3, the open world came from Ronin, the exploration system, the map, the icons even, the counter system and burst break from Wolong. The only thing missing really was the flag system, which I personally loved in Wolong. I thought it added a unique twist to exploration while stopping grinding in a way. And this isn't a knock on Nioh 3. Nioh 3 is a culmination of hard work, exploration of ideas, and refinement, the result being Nioh 3. In Nioh 3, of course, the combat is split between Samurai and Ninja. Everyone knows this by now. But the Ninja actually felt like the Wolong character, with his access to spells and no stance switching, while the Samurai feels like Rise of the Ronin, ironically enough, because he's a samurai. But again, going back to criticisms of Wolong and Rise of the Ronin, there was a lot of criticism of recycling. I mean, Nioh 3 recycles a lot. Not that I think that's a bad thing. If your core mechanics, such as the combat, as is in Nioh 3, are fantastic, I think people are willing to forgive a lot. But for me, I don't think the combat was bad in Ronin or Wolong. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. But again, I just want to go back to the original point, which was I felt both of those games were kind of dismissed. Maybe looking back on it, actually, the reviews aren't as bad as I thought they were when I looked on Metacritic, but I just don't feel they got the praise they deserved, while Nioh 3 is regarded as a masterpiece. So really, my question is, were those games actually that bad? When you look back in hindsight, when you look at what's come after, can you go back and play Rise of the Ronin and Wolong now and maybe look at them in a more positive light? I hope people can, and I encourage you to do so. But I think the answer is obvious now. Wolong and Rise of the Ronin were the experiments. Nioh 3 is the result. And the result is, of course, from the best action RPG in years. Team Ninja just needed us to be a bit patient with them, and they delivered. Nioh 3 definitely makes it hard to stay mad if you were mad about Ronin and Wolong. The proof is in the pudding, I guess they say. But yeah, this is just a super short video because I've been playing Nioh 3 for the last week, like most people, and I just could not shake the nagging feeling. I was like, I have played all this before, and that's not a knock, because Nioh 3 is fantastic. And I love Team Ninja games. I play everything, and I generally like everything they do. But I was just like, why did everyone hate on these other games when Nioh 3 is just universally loved? And yeah, okay, I guess the performance wasn't great, and I guess Ronin looks ugly, but Nioh 3 doesn't look like a world beater by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, look, personally, if I was you, I'd love more people to play Rise of the Ronin just because it tells a brilliant story, and of course, Nioh 3 is not known for its story. So if you want to play a Nioh-style game with a fantastic, true story, by the way, I would highly recommend going to play Rise of the Ronin. I'm actually not even sure if the PC version is fixed yet. I mean, I'd double-check that before you purchase anything. But I played it on the PS5, and yeah, it ran perfectly fine. So yeah, that's my take on that. It's just me talking out loud about my my jealousy of the love Nioh 3 is getting, evidently, judging by how this video's gone. But yeah, let me know what you thought in the comments. Take care, peace, take care, like, subscribe, please. Thank you. It helps me out a ton. Bye.